Got a bunch of crows this time. Put y'all right here for a bit. Oh wait, you know what? Maybe I can. Huh. Yeah, all the crows are up here. Got a bunch of them. Where are you out there? There you are. Here, you'll get to be right here. Bucket. I'll be back in a sec. Ugh. What doggo? What the doggo? Hmm? What? Paper kit. I think it's moved forward. Cool. No fucking squirrel. I blame the motherfucker mowing this goddamn lawn. Even though it didn't need to be mowed. Let's just have a nice big gas guzzler, just like, you know. Just take out like a good 2 inches of grass, even though we don't need that at all. Because, you know, fuck peace and quiet in the morning. Bunch of bullshit. Because now there ain't no damn squirrel. The crows are over here, though. They're all hanging out. Mind their own business, but the squirrels all said fuck off. Boo. Morning's the best time to mow. It's not even the morning. It's well into the afternoon. So. Oh my god, I forgot to bring Zuka's leash back inside. Oh my fucking Christ. You stretchy dog. What are you doing? Big stretch. Oh, look at Zo. You're just so cute. Alrighty. You make so much noise when you yawn, bro. So vocal. You just sort of the vote. Really? Really, pup? Yo, that's where my phone is, dude. Good dog. Yeah. Oh, so Zeus, get back up here. Get back up here. Come here. Come on. Look at you. Bloop. Oh. Hello, sweet boy. Hey, don't be eating those nuts. Those are squirrels, not you. Getting vocal with me. Get my shit. Do tend to have a weird ass sauce regulating what you can and can't do if you're on property. I kind of agree with Right Toys on this. Oh, you just found that out? Yeah, West Coast, you get cucked a little bit every now and then. Should absolutely do what you want if you're on your own property. Yeah, I tend to agree. I mean, within reason, though. Like, you shouldn't probably just, like, you know, in an area like this, I shouldn't, on my own property, be able to just, like, shoot my gun, you know what I mean? There's certain things within reason, but yeah, like, pretty much for the most part, you know, as long as no one else is being harmed or no one else is being impacted by it in any serious, significant way, then who gives a shit? you know, there's obviously societal, like, you know, like contract rules and shit in place, so to speak, of like, you can't, you know, like noise ordinance laws, for example. Like, everybody, whether you own property or not, everyone has to abide by noise ordinance laws. So, you know, it's like stuff like that, basically. Has the weird ass water laws where you can't dig a well without approval. Yeah, that's probably understandable a little bit. I mean, one, because you don't want to be digging into a well that actually might have a bunch of toxic minerals or stuff like that, but that would not be good for you to drink, for one. And for two, like, I mean, Colorado also has a lot of fracking going on, so if you're, you know, digging a well and it happens to be, like, nearby one of these, like, fracking fields or whatever the fuck, you just might be getting a lot of toxic shit in your water. And a lot of people are already having to deal with that anyway, so it's like, I don't know, I mean, it just depends on, like, what, you know, it means to be, like, approved, or, like, you just simply can't do it unless for this or that. Like, I mean, there has to be some specific reasoning for it. Like, oh, hey, you simply just want to, you know, get a well made and you want to request it, then that's pretty much about it. And they're just trying to look out for, like toxicity levels, or if there's actually a water supply, stuff like that. That, to me, is understandable. And also, like, does it impact other public waterways, potentially? Like, you know, is it something that, like, you know, if I were to dig a well into, like, a waterway or a reservoir, would that make a big impact to, like, another community's, you know, water and shit? Granted, one person and one property is not going to have that big of a difference, but implying that you're going to have a well there means it's going to be a permanent well, and you're going to have it there for a while, and you're going to be using it for a long extensive time, and other people can be using it too. And with that in mind, then that means that, you know, it, while it exists, will be taking water away from that reservoir and stuff. And if every single person had the ability to do that, then that would get sucked up dry really quick. So, I mean, all in all, there's reasons, and, you know, I think are understandable for shit like that. Where's my fucking... There it is. Yeah, squirrel's out there. Fucking lawnmower, dude. I'm fucking mowing a lawn that barely has, like, an inch above, you know, what is adequate. Like, give me a break. You could legit do anything to your property. Oh my god. Hey, boy. Hey, bub. Come on. Anti regulatory measures. That's retarded. Like, that's just straight stupid. Give a fuck. Yeah, evidently, and what do you know, Alabama is literally a backwater shithole fucking incest land full of, like, you know, impoverishment and lack of proper fucking financing of the state, and thus, yeah, it is, like, one of the worst states basically existing. So, yeah. You know, that don't give a fuck mentality Alabama got seems to literally be regressing it back to the fucking Neanderthal days. Oh, there it is. I put more nuts out there. Just trying to see if they're a little squirrel to might have returned or not, but nope. Boo. Well, I'll go out there and track him. I will track him. Six. Oh my god. Jeez. Crazy mutt. Oh shit, the crows came back. They literally did. They landed in this tree. They came over here, cawed, and now are watching me. These fucking crows, dude. They know. They know, dude. Oh, I heard another one. Way off in distance. Oh, here it comes. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, oh, this is so cool, dude. That's why I love crows. I heard one and now they're all gone. Here you go, guys. They're all up there. I don't know if any of it can be seen, but they're up there. Ooh. There we go. Man, I literally cannot even see my screen right now. Holy fuck. Yeah, ooh, I lost or whatever. It's like, fuck you, I can't even see my phone. Fuck you with this, oh, you gotta, like, be, you know, make sure you don't strain your eyes. Like, the sun is straining my eyes. It's like, you what, you think my phone's gonna do something to me, device? Like, good lord. I would eat crows to make good stew. What the fuck is wrong with you? That's gross. Crow just said he slept with what? With your sister, you didn't react at all? Well, because she doesn't live out here. She lives in fucking Montana, not in Oregon, bro. So that literally wouldn't even make sense. There's still 2 or 3 of them hanging up here. They're just chilling. But now all their crow buddies are all kind of chatting with each other off in distance. And be like, yeah, this food just got laid out, bro. That's what I could tell. Most of the crows in their nests, they have some in this cherry blossom tree over here. Oh, I see one nest right on this evergreen next to that tree. And there's a pair that live over here too on this, some trees up here. Wait. You looked up Simo's on a background check website. She moved to freaking New Mexico and also has multiple reckless driving charges. Oh my fucking god, dude! Wow. Wow. So just reckless driving and endangerment and all that shit. That's just great. Come here, boo boo. Come on. Here you go. Knowing that crazy bitch, she probably ran red lights multiple times and got pulled over. Or probably at the same time did that. Maybe a little bit of nearly running people over. Probably a few other things. Single child endangerment, which is grandson. Yeah, that would probably be that. Yep. One more little squirrel check. And no squirrel. Alright. Now I get that coffee in my brewski. Come on, doggo. Little goof. So cover the fruit. Explains this what a dog is. Or else explains what a dog is or blocked off Facebook now. Well, at least that's good. Finding out that they're a crazy nutter. Oh, where's... Oh, right here. Yeah. Oh, whoop. Ugh, no jackets. Fuck yeah, there we go. Alright. What the fuck is in here? Oh, my headphones. Alright. Okay. Found our usual spot. Get this spot open. And so now we're here. I'm pretty sure there's been some crazy shit that happened today. So, edging all day, watching right-wing meltdowns. Well, that's what I mean. What's been going on today? Apparently Tucker Carlson is not, like, working at Fox anymore. Or some shit. Like, he got fired or quit or something. Something happened with that. And also, considering the recent settlement with Dominion, does that have anything to do with it? Got fired, so Don Lemon. Well, wasn't he fired like a while ago? Didn't he get let go way before this? Isn't he? Is it Don Lemon on like CNN, not Fox? Who gives a fuck? I don't pay attention to mainstream media enough to give him that much of an iota of a go fuck. I just thought that Rachel Madcow was fucking, on MSNBC for a time. Until she cried away, off from, being on there. And then he got, fucking Anderson Cooper, which, he's on CNN. And then Tucker Carlson. So at this point, like the only major names that I kind of know of, they're all gone now. So at this point, now I have to kind of figure out, who's going to be the next big names. Because it used to be, Bill O'Reilly, fucking Sean Hannity, and then, I think for CNN, I mean, it was still Anderson Cooper, basically. And then fucking... Yeah, Rachel, pretty much the same ones. But now all the legacy old guard anchors are gone, so... who's these new ones? What, do you think Jesse Waters is going to somehow take, the mantle? If that smug face, he's too, hateable. At least, fuck. Actually, you know what? I don't know. I mean, Tucker is pretty hateable, too. If anything, more so, but he doesn't have as much of a hateable face. Tucker has a goofy fucking face, but it's not as hateable, in my opinion. Jesse Waters has a more legitimately, vitriolically hateful face that I could just hate. So, I mean, at least for me, Jesse Waters has got more of a fucking horrible, utter, just, face that deserves a fist. Rotating the vape. Well, probably because it's a bad vape. And also, vapes are technically not even really that good for you anyway. I mean, I know there's the whole, you're better for you or whatever the fuck in a sense than smoke other shit, but frankly, I'd rather just have, carbonized bullshit in my lungs versus whatever weird fucking fluid shit that, is gonna be in a vape. Because frankly, It's getting worse for months now. Yeah, because you're having like vape juice buildup. It's ammonia. Like you're basically, yeah, that's like essentially what's going on. White fluid. Yeah, that sounds like, yeah. I mean, that sounds like, what it would be the case then. And it's probably due to the fact that it's synthesized. Because if you fuck with, natural properties and shit, you tend to, not know what you're fucking with. So, I mean, I've always been skeptical about THCO anyway. After this video, I'm done with THCO. Yeah, because honestly, it's not legitimate. Like, and this is the reason why having illegal marijuana is fundamentally a problem. And having this weird middle ground bullshit that this fucking country has about weed is retarded. Because it leads to this type of shit. And, because why do you think spice was such a big fearmonger when marijuana was absolutely illegal and there wasn't at least, this gray area in place? Because it was totally prohibited. But now that we have this little mixture gray area, and now that you can get THC in vapes, and you can synthesize it, and there's a little bit more advancement in study, and all this other shit, like, I mean, now it's a lot easier to, get a high, while not going to something that's so deadly like spice. But it's still not good for you. Like, dead ass, I'd rather, because I have, basically, I'd rather smoke weed for a decade than THCO for a decade. And the main reason why is because I don't trust what THCO is going to do to me. I could trust what, THC 9, like Delta 9 THC is going to do, the regular shit. Since it's pretty mild. Well, it needs to be way more strictly regulated. I mean, strictly. Hey! Because it's not as simple as just, like, extracting THC out of, like, weed, and there you go. Like, I mean, you're doing extra shit, you're synthesizing stuff. Like, there's a level of artificiality to it. Because, if not, it could be dangerous. Not necessarily deadly, but, it could be dangerous to your health. I mean, smoking weed and flower isn't really no better, frankly, but at least we already know what the fuck happens with that. It's, pretty self-explanatory. And we know how to treat that, too. And, at least when it comes to marijuana consumption, when it comes to, like, tar buildup in the lungs, it, eventually it won't be, like, totally 100% repaired, but it's something that can at least be reversible. If you're doing that with, cigarettes and shit, then fuck no, it ain't. Like, that shit will be permanent. So it's just like, I mean, either way, marijuana will still be technically better to smoke in comparison to anything else. But even then, like, there's still a consequence, when doing that. Every now and then when I'm like, damn, that's a harsh hit, like, my throat is getting fucked up with that. Like, I feel like what feels like someone's taking, like, a little knife and just, like, doing a slight cut, like, all the way up and down my throat. When that happens sometimes. And it's because the hit's harsh. And it tore up my, throat a little bit. Not literally, but, did it feel good? And yeah, I mean, if you're a stoner and smoke weed and shit, or just smoke in general, that happens sometimes. That gets me to hurt mom. If you caught me smoking a real thing. Dude, he'll use anything to hurt people. Your stepdouche, I don't know if you notice, but he's somebody who will literally use anything and everything under the sun to hurt people and fucking make sure that he can, be at top and make himself look good. It's like, he will do anything to, like, help himself and make sure that he looks good and hurt anybody else in the process, regardless of who it is. It doesn't matter. I know people rip that shit once or twice and passed out. Do not do that. That's actually legitimately fucking deadly. Like, you can actually fucking die from that, dude. Don't be retarded and do that. No, don't fucking do that shit. That is just stupid. If you want to, like, just, like, get drunk off of alcohol, drink it. You don't need to inhale it. Because that legitimately is way more dangerous. Far more fucking dangerous. fine. Changed his Facebook from married to separate yesterday after I agreed that to wait until the divorce was final, but apparently that wasn't fast enough for him. Oh well. I mean, not that I would think. Yeah, I mean, doesn't seem like that big of a deal. I mean, it's a Facebook fucking post, essentially. He's hiding all the pics and shit from them in his timeline. I'm curious. Wow. Oh shit, you're right. Don Lemon was fired today. I thought, dude, why did I think this dork was fired from CNN like months ago? And wait, so did he do something good? Was that why he was fucking fired? After committing an act of journalism? Wait, so did he do a based? And CNN was like, no, you're not, you can't be based. How dare you?
You are sick.
Like, was that what was going on? You don't understand how much credence Mom gives to Facebook. Nobody should give any credence to Facebook, period. But that's not really a fault of your mom. That's just the fault of Facebook.
Telling an African American about the rights and what you find insulting about the way I live, the skin I live in every day.
And what is now the second biggest firing in media today? Don Lemon.
What's with mainstream media firing people today? You got Tucker, Don, like who's next?
Has been fired by CNN. Following, of course, Fox News firing Tucker Carlson. So this one is a little, maybe even more interesting because of the last straw that may have led to his firing, according to reports. And it's an act of journalism that CNN apparently felt was a little too on the nose, maybe. I don't know, but I'm going to show you what that is. But let's go through just how wildly different these statements are from CNN compared to Don Lemon.
Of course they have statements here. I want to check the clip more than anything, but I definitely want to check these out too. CNN and Don are parted ways. Don will forever be a part of the CNN Oh my god. I already hate this. Oh my god, I already hate it. And so you fire his ass, you know, and basically say, go fuck off. And you're like, oh, but you're always going to be a part of our family. Ugh. Fucking cult shit, dude. And we thank him for his contributions over the past 17 years. He's been with them for 17 years? Jesus. We wish him well, and we'll be cheering on him in his future endeavors. Proceeds to go on, like... It'd be funny if Don Lemon, honestly, like, went on TYT or some shit or something. It's just like, oh, he's over there now. It's like, oh, you're gonna cheer him on over there? So you're gonna cheer him on, you know, for his endeavors there, CNN? I mean, not that I would, you know, want him to anyway, or TYT to do that. And frankly, honestly, I don't even, you know, care about TYT anyway. But, like, I mean, I think that would be funny. Because TYT and CNN, well, they don't like each other. Like, TYT is meant to be, like, the challenger to the mainstream apparatus. And, I mean, CNN, MSNBC, I mean, mainly a lot of the left-leaning mainstream media outlets, they sure shit don't like TYT at all. So, I mean, it would just be kind of hilarious. Like, oh, we're going to cheer him on in future endeavors. But basically, like, you know, would that mean cheering him on endeavors that y'all don't want him to partake in? Here, let's see the, oh, wait, even Don put one out? Oh, shit. Oh, this is more interesting. Wait, hold up. I was informed this morning by my agent that I've been terminated by CNN. I'm stunned. Wait a minute. This implies that, like, oh, you know, we came to a mutual agreement. And then this right here is like, I was just dropped out of nowhere. I was shocked. Like, I was not even told about this. My agent had to let me know. CNN didn't even tell him anything. His agent had to tell him. Bruh. Dude, what a bunch of snakes, man. Am I actually starting to kind of feel bad for Don Lemon now? Because what the fuck? Like, he got stiffed. He just got stiffed by CNN hard, dude.
Lemon.
Like, they did this whole PR shit, implying that, like, oh, Don Lemon's just gonna keep his mouth shut, apparently, and he comes out with a statement being like, no, I was just straight up terminated, and they didn't even say anything to me. My agent had to let me know.
saying, I was informed this morning by my agent, and by the way, he did the show this morning.
He did a show too and was fired after. Oh my god. That's even more cold. It's like, we'll let you do your final show, and then out of nowhere, probably while doing the show, he's fucking fired. Oh my god, dude, that is some cold shit.
He was fired after the show. I was informed by my agent that I have been terminated by CNN. I am stunned. After 17 years at CNN, I would have thought that someone in management would have had the decency to tell me directly. At no time...
The decency... Yeah, well, guess what? They're CNN and mainstream media, period, don't have any decency. Don, like, you should know that, man. Like, what? Just because you're part of their club, you think they're going to have decency with you, too? Of course not. You're just a mouthpiece for them. Like, they don't really care about the mouthpiece as long as they fall in line, which evidently Don didn't really as much. He wasn't willing to kowtow to the CNN line as much as the rest of the anchors and shit. At least, you know, for what I'm getting out of this, that seems like it. Is Don going to be like another crystal ball or something like that, where he ends up being like way more progressive than I realized and actually is kind of cool? Because I always thought he was annoying, and he always rubbed me the wrong way, but I feel like that just kind of is changing so very quickly right now. What is happening?
That I would not be able to continue to do the work I have loved at the network. It is clear that there are some larger issues at play. With that said, I want to thank my colleagues and the many teams I have worked with for an incredible run.
Of course. He doesn't want to be too, you know, like... aggressive about it. You know, he's trying to be nice. Yeah, I get it, Don.
Most talented journalists in the business, and I wish them all the best.
Talented.
Incredible run. There's a couple of...
come on, Don.
At least a couple of times that Don Lemon has made headlines on his new morning show. One of them here...
Wait, it's something about women? The presidential candidate, Nikki Haley, is not in her prime, oiled in the network? Wait, because he said that Nikki Haley was not in her prime? Like, dude, they realize that Lemon was probably meaning her political prime, not like her... Like, what the fuck did they think that he meant? Like, what the fuck did they think Don Lemon meant when he said not in her prime about Nikki Haley? Like, what, like sexual prime? Or something? Like, what the fuck did they think he meant? I'm pretty sure it's obvious he meant like her political prime, which frankly will never happen. Like, she's just an obscured fuckball. Like, I mean, she ain't gonna be like, you know, that's just a Republican fringe. Like, I mean, she ain't gonna really be making big waves. So it's like, I mean, like, that's basically a nice... Don Lemon's just being nice way of saying, like, she ain't gonna make it. Ever. She's not in her prime, she won't be. Like, she ain't gonna make it in the political sphere. Like, she's just kind of a side character. Like, that's what Lemon is saying. I can just, even with that three little word quote, you know, right there, I can already infer that, just with that alone. Because knowing Don Lemon, like, he's not someone who's just making misogynist takes left and right.
Uproar hits CNN as Don Lemon is rebuked for comments about women. So you may or may not remember this, but this was about Nikki Haley and her run for president as a Republican. And here are the comments that he made about that.
This whole talk about AIDS makes me uncomfortable. I think it's the wrong road to go down. She says people, you know, politicians or something are not in their prime. Nikki Haley isn't in her prime. Sorry. When a woman is considered to be in her prime in her 20s and 30s and maybe 40s.
What are you talking? Wait.
That's not according to me.
Prime for what?
It depends. I mean, it's just like prime. If you look it up, if you Google when is a woman in her...
Okay, never mind. Oh, whoa. Don, whoa, hold on. Whoa, Don Lemon, whoa. Okay, it's... Oh my god. Like, oh man. Dude, I honestly, okay. Alright, I take everything I just said right back. Oh my god. Wow, he actually is kind of inferring, like, sexual prime and shit. Dude, are you kidding me, Don? Lemon, I didn't think you were gonna go hot take galore on that one. Jesus. I mean, and the fucking weird thing is, like, I guess in a sense he isn't wrong, but guess what? Like, the human prime age and, like, the peak of a human adult is usually in their 20s and 30s and shit. Not just for women. Like, it's definitely a little interesting. Like, like what?
And it'll say 20s, 30s, and 40s. I don't necessarily...
40s. Oh, I got another
I'm not saying I agree with that. So I think she has to be careful about saying...
Oh, and he tried to save himself. It's like, I don't agree with that. So she needs to be careful of what she has to say, blah, blah, blah. Like, oh my god. He tried to say, oh my god, dude. Okay, I kind of see maybe why. I don't think it deserves a firing or anything. Like, he said a little hot take, and whatever. I didn't think he would say it. Like, I didn't think it was gonna pop off like that, but okay, whatever. I mean, I don't think it's that big of a fucking deal. I mean, sure. Oh, you know what? Hold on. I just even noticed this, too. He's actually responding to what Haley said. Politicians over 75 need mental competency tests. I don't even disagree with that, by the way. Like, so he's mainly responding to this, which I think, in a way, he's kind of agreeing with, I think. Saying, like, yeah, like, but at the same time being like, I'm not totally comfortable with it, because, like, you know, I don't even know exactly what he's trying to infer with it, but, like, I mean, it's, like, I'd definitely rather politicians be younger, for sure, like, 20s, 30s, 40s, and stuff, like, you know, he's kind of mentioning, like, so if anything, if I'm guessing what he's saying, I don't even disagree with it anyway. He may have worded it not necessarily the best, but I don't even necessarily disagree with it. Because I think he's actually trying to, like, see what Hale was trying to say and be like, well, I don't agree with her specific tact, but the broader issue, maybe. I think that's what he's trying to say. Which, how's that even ridiculous? He just kind of worded it weirdly.
You know, politicians aren't in their
I
prime.
think we need to qualify. Are you talking about prime for, like, childbearing, or are you talking about prime for being
president? What
president?
the facts are. Google it. Everybody at home. When is a woman in her prime? It says 20s, 30s, and 40s. And I'm just saying Nikki Haley should be careful about saying that politicians are not in their prime, and they need to be in their prime when they serve, because she wouldn't be in her prime according to
Google?
Google or whatever it is.
Oh my god, he wanted to say himself, according to me and a lot of people. You know, and she was like, Google, dude, oh my god. Man, he kind of wanted to let his real takes out there for a second. Oh boy. And you know what? I don't even disagree with him a little bit. Honestly, I don't even. Like you're saying, Nikki Haley ain't in prime. She needs to, like, step aside, you know, let some younger bucks go out there and, you know, take the reins and shit. Like, okay, yeah, now that I kind of see what he was saying there, yeah, I do agree with that. He just said it kind of poorly because he's really trying to emphasize women on that, which that I don't totally agree with, because I just think that should be across the board, not just for women. So it's like, yeah, people who are younger, quote, in their prime running for office, that I just agree with broadly. It shouldn't just be women, though, but, you know, either way, that's something that I definitely think, you know, is, you know, better, because I don't want old fucks and old farts in the retirement home running the country.
So, regardless of your feelings about these comments here, there was disagreement on air at the time, which I think there's nothing wrong with these sorts of discussions as long as there is, you know, pushback on air about it. And
or just a little back and forth, which there was, and honestly, it was a little amusing. You know, honestly, at worst, it was probably just, like, you know, really horribly worded, and at best, just, like, tongue-in-cheek. Like, honestly, that's kind of how I feel about it. I mean, maybe Don's got, like, a little bit, like, internal misogyny going on, but I don't know.
And then,
okay with status quo. I mean, I'm not. I'm sure shit ain't okay with the status quo, even with things being stagnant. Like, if literally nothing got worse from here on out, I would still not be satisfied with status quo. Like, if we're talking, like, maybe 2014 or 2015, then, you know, I would probably be like, okay, you know, status quo could seriously be way better, but at least it ain't that bad. You know, it's like, we can at least make this manageable, you know, but right now, no. Like, it's too dysfunctional. Like, the status quo is barely, like, fucking functional as it is.
Went on to apologize about it, and CNN's chairman, Chris Licht, opened his daily 9 a.m. editorial at the time by saying the remarks by Lemon were widely viewed as sexist and insensitive and had left him disappointed.
Oh, my God. I mean, like, I don't really think it was outright, you know, being insensitively sexist or whatever. I mean, insensitive, sure. But I don't think he's, you know, fucking, you know, like, Don Lemon's being overtly sexist here. Like, I mean, if anything, he just kind of seemed like he was trying to be tongue-in-cheek, and really, if anything, is trying to pop off on Nikki Haley specifically. Like, he's saying that Nikki Haley is not in her prime because usually, you know, if she's trying to say that politicians need to be in their prime, you know, her as a woman is not, you know, she isn't in her prime, so she would not, you know, qualify for being in the prime as a politician with her own fucking logic. Don Lemon is using, if anything, you know, the logic of Nikki Haley against her, you know, to, like, show that her idea and her take is kind of fucking stupid. At least when it comes to politicians being in their age prime. You know, which for women would include, I guess, childbearing age and shit, but that's not the point. You know, at least I don't think that's the point Don was trying to make. I mean, a little insensitive because it's a little, like, tongue-in-cheek in a way, because he's kind of trying to get mainly under Nikki Haley's skin, I feel like. Yeah, like, sure. Like, I'll definitely, you know, cop to that, but I don't think he was trying to overtly be goddamn fucking sexist and shit. I think that's just going fucking too far about it. You could say, again, like, insensitive and maybe, like, you know, distasteful, but, like, I don't necessarily think it's, like, outright sexist. I mean, maybe Don's got some internal sexism going on and shit, like, but I don't fucking know. I always thought he was just kind of an annoying little goofball anyway, that just really kind of rubbed me the wrong way, but I don't know. Right now, that opinion isn't really the same anymore. Like, if anything, for me, he's kind of gotten some respect points.
They had crossed that bridge, you know, or they had dealt with the situation. Don Lemon apologized. They moved on. But I guess they weren't done. So in recent weeks, bookers had discovered that some guests did not want to appear on air with Mr. Lemon. And research on the morning show reviewed by CNN, executives found that his popularity with audiences had fallen, one of the people said. So this, I tend to think this is maybe if this is true, one of the biggest reasons why they would kick him off. They need guests. This is why media is often very kind to all of their guests, regardless of who they are. Very rarely is there some real pushback on guests because they want to be able to invite them back on. They want access. They care so much about access. So they're never going to be, you know.
And when it comes to, like, you know, Don, he's somebody that is willing to let his real take fly every now and then. And sometimes be a little bit, you know, quote, insensitive or a little distasteful here and there. And that's really bad when it comes to having access. And, of course, CNN being, you know, basically the middle ground news outlet is going to fundamentally, you know, do anything and everything under the sun to try to have as maximum amount of access as possible to pretty much anybody and everybody. You know, so, you know, having someone like Don Lemon is somewhat of a liability for them. Which, honestly, knowing this really does, at least for me, make Don Lemon more likable.
Really gonna
like, he, you know, where, yeah, he's still kind of a liberal, he's still, like, you know, a corporate shit, but, I mean, he's still at least, what it seems like, at least got a little bit of a wild card every now and then. Not a hardcore wild card where it's like, blah, you know, going crazy and shit, but, you know, a card that just, like, you know, pop off and they're like, oh, fuck, oh, shit, okay.
Journalism with guests because they don't want to scare people away. But this is why I would think this is one of the larger reasons he was pushed out. But also tensions emerged between Lemon and one of his co-anchors, Miss Collins. In December, CNN This Morning crew members were rattled after a backstage incident where Lemon accused Collins of interrupting him too often. So behind the scenes, there's some, I guess, fighting or a little bit of disagreement between how they conduct the show. But this one, I'm surprised. I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but I'm kind of surprised that this made it. That this is maybe the last straw. So last Wednesday, Lemon made headlines again after a highly contentious on-air exchange with Vivek Ramaswamy, a Republican presidential candidate.
Who? Vivek Ramaswamy? A Republican presidential? Who? Somebody whose name is probably going to drop out before the first fucking Republican primary? What type of name is it? Dude, what is with Republicans, man? Why do Republicans have fucking weird names? Like Vivek Ramaswamy, dude. Like, what fucking name is this? Like, why does that sound like some Middle Earth name or some shit? Or like a name that you would like randomly generate in like Mountain Blade or something.
Show you this video. So yes, it is contentious, but Lemon is committing a rare act of journalism here, and apparently this is one of the reasons why they fired him. So.
Okay, so I guess this is like the initial clip that popped up from earlier. Like, what did it say here below, too? The segment deteriorated as the men fiercely debate questions of black history and the Second Amendment. Oh, okay. I kind of already know where that's probably going to be going. Because of, you know, a lot of different, you know, Republican legislation pushes to try to disarm black Americans, especially during civil rights. Shit like that, so...
Why they fired him. So,
with due respect, I find your explanation reductive and actually...
Wait, this is the guy? This is Vivek Ramaswamy? Bruh. You're gonna get eaten alive in the Republican debates, bro. Like, oh my god. Like, dude, look at this fucking, like, random spelling bee looking nerd, dude. Like, you're gonna get eaten the fuck alive in those GOP presidential debates, and oh my god, I'm gonna fucking love it.
Including to black Americans, to say that black people today, compared to 1964, 1865, haven't made progress in part because of the freedoms we secured. And the Second Amendment was
Black
part
people,
of what
hang
secured
on,
that
please.
freedom.
I cannot keep a thought if you guys are talking to me in my ear. So, hang on one second. So to say that black people...
Oh, shit. Damn, Don Lemon, I told his producers because they kept trying to say shit in his ear while he was going off, and he's like, yo, shut the fuck up. Like, he literally just straight up, before he even got to, you know, say anything, he's like, hey, I can't even get to, hold on, you know, I can't get to, you know, this, your point, because some motherfuckers keep screaming at my ear, shut up, you know, like, damn, dude. Dude, I see why they killed off Lemon on CNN now. Well, you know, fired him, not killed off, but, like, you know, it's because he's a little feisty. Shit, this is honestly a side of Lemon I never seen before. Like, he kind of could pop off. He kind of lets his, you know, real side, you know, his real flag fly a little bit and, you know, pops off.
Say what you said again.
Black people secured their freedoms after the Civil War. It is a historical fact, Don. Just study it. Only after...
There's a lot of shit that you're leaving out there, buddy.
Second Amendment rights were secured.
They were not secured their freedoms after the Civil War. That is not, you are discounting Reconstruction. You're discounting a whole host of things that happened after the Civil War when it comes to African Americans, including the whole reason that the Civil Rights Movement happened is because black people did not secure their freedoms after the Civil War, and that things turned around. People tried to change the freedoms that were supposed to happen.
And you know how they...
Yeah, with things called Jim Crow there, Vivek. Like, yeah, you're leaving out a lot of context there, Ramaswamy. Dude, oh my god, what a name, bro. Like, you're leaving out a lot of context, bro. Like, I mean, oh yeah, they secured the rights after the Civil War. Not really. Like, they got, like, you know, the ability to not be fucking slaves anymore. Like, but did they have, like, their rights and shit? No, they didn't. Like, they didn't have voting rights. They didn't have, you know, the ability to, you know, just, you know, have, like, you know, the same equals pay, you know, to a white man. They, you know, black women especially didn't have, like, you know, the same equal rights to, you know, white women. Like, all these type of things, you know, were not set in stone. There had to be Reconstruction, you know, which that never even finished because of, you know, Jefferson and shit. I think, right? What was his name? Andrew Jefferson or some shit? Or, it was the president after fucking Lincoln, that fuck. It was like Andrew something, I think. But, you know, that fuck. Because, like, he was literally a compromise, you know, for the Dixiecrats, you know, and the Republicans to basically be like, alright, we'll basically stop Reconstruction early as long as you just, you know, don't try to secede again, basically. And don't have slavery again. But you can pretty much do whatever you want. They legit would vote themselves back in plantations. Now that fucking rest is right about to say. I don't think so either necessarily, because you got people like Clandis Owens, you know, like that, you know, advocate essentially for that, you know, if you think about it. And the main reason why is because they think they're going to be the Uncle Tom that's going to be in the plantation mansion, you know, in like in their own little like side hut, you know, right next to it. They're going to have their own little luxury, you know, room, you know, within the mansion while everyone else is out in their little shacks and huts, you know, out in the fields. You know, they think if they, you know, could suck up to them enough and vote for their interests and, you know, enough, then they'll, you know, be on the good side and be able to be the Uncle Toms or the Samuel L. Jacksons in Django Unchained, right? I don't know what the character's name that Samuel L. Jackson played, but goddamn, did Samuel L. play that character good. They think they'll be the privileged overseer slaves. Yeah. Again, like the character that Samuel L. played, basically.
Second Amendment rights, and they actually got the NRA plate.
Django Unchained is such a fucking good movie. Like, I mean, like, I gotta watch that movie again. Django Unchained is so goddamn good.
But today, down the
NRA did not play a big role in that. That is a lie. That's a lie. That's not. The NRA did not play a big role in that.
This is just historical fact. But
yeah, they didn't.
Not historical fact.
The part that I find...
Like, I mean, it's like, I guarantee you the reason why Rip Swami is saying that is because the NRA was first founded, because a lot of, the one thing that at least the Southern military did have over the North was the fact that a lot of Southern soldiers, a lot of the ranch hands and shit like that were legit good sharpshooters, like good snipers. And a lot of the rifles that they had, you know, were really good for sharpshooting, at least at that time. So the NRA was first founded initially as essentially like a sharpshooters slash like competition sportsmen's organization for Northern Civil War veterans to essentially compete with a lot of the skill and tenacity that a lot of Southern sharpshooters had. So basically, as an idea, the whole point initially, at least when it was first founded after the Civil War, was basically if South rose again, because that was still kind of a big threat, or at least, you know, when it came to different skirmishes and different militias that were still trying to keep the fight alive and stuff. You know, like, the idea was a lot of these Northern soldiers were like, well, because a lot of them are good sharpshooters, let's try to, you know, get as good as them, you know, and, you know, harness our skill on our rifles and shit. So, like, initially, the NRA was, you know, maybe to some extent, you know, they probably did have, you know, like, black soldiers, or at least, you know, black men, you know, part of the ranks and stuff at the time, but they didn't play a big fucking role in this shit. Like, they were a very small organization when they first started. Like, I mean, because it was mostly like a Civil War veterans organization at first. Like, that's literally how it first started. And over the years and over the generations, it eventually evolved and changed. And it like, cause from there, it then changed to be broadly like a national gun safety organization, and then it became, from there, a corrupted gun lobbyist organization, and that's what it has been since the 70s to 60s about. Like, ever since around the 60s, 70s, the NRA is basically, you know, known as what we see it today. Like, I'd argue there's at least, like, 3 big eras of the NRA. When it was first founded, it did, prior to it being a gun lobby, it did the birth and the codification of it being a gun lobbyist organization. Which, the third part, being a gun lobby organization, is what we see today. Which is a corrupt shit fuck organization, and is really more, if anything, a fucking... The OG NRA, you know, would look at the current NRA and spit in their fucking face.
The part that I find insulting is when you say today black Americans don't have those rights after we have gone through the civil rights revolution in this country.
You are sitting here telling an African American about the rights and what you find insulting about the way I live, the skin I live in every day.
Here's where you and I have a different point of view.
Black and white that black people don't have in this country, and that black people do have.
Well, here's where you and I have a different point of view. I think we should be able to express our views regardless of the color of our skin. We should have this debate.
I'm not saying you should.
What? Oh, wait, Vivek, he didn't say anything about that. Like, what the fuck? We should be able to have discussions without, like, you know, our skin being involved in this. It's like, you're the one who started that, Vivek. You're the one who invoked it in the first place.
You as a black man,
insulting that
but
you're
me regarding you as a...
I hate these fuckers, dude. I hate these It's like, hey, I'm not trying to, you know, make this a racial issue, when they're the ones who usually are the ones who, like, bring it the fuck up first. It's like when you actually have a more of a nuanced take about that, you know, when they bring it up, they're like, hold on, I'm not trying to bring racialness. Like, well, you did! Like, I mean, it's like, you're the one who did it, fucker!
You're sitting here, whatever ethnicity you are, explaining to me
whatever ethnicity
about what it's like to be black.
Whatever ethnicity I'm, I'll tell you what I am. I'm an Indian American. I'm proud of it. But I think we should have this debate. Black, white, doesn't matter.
I think we should have this
on
debate
the content of the ideas.
You should do it in an honest way and in a fair way. And what you're doing is not an honest and fair way. Okay?
Yeah, no shit. Was this seriously the final straw that broke the camel's back for CNN? Because Don Lemon is literally doing really frankly, the bare minimal. Like, honestly, like, I mean, he's not even really being exceptionally extraordinary. He's actually heated and kind of popping off, and honestly, it does kind of give me a little respect for him, frankly. Like, I do have a different opinion about Don Lemon now, honestly, I will admit. I still think he's a lib, but whatever. He's at least, better than I thought. So thus I actually do have a little respect for him now a little bit. Not a lot, but, it's like, alright, I could kind of get with him. Because, like, I mean, like, this is literally the most bare minimal of journalism. Like, he's just holding this fucker to the most bare minimal of accountability. And, just because they want this literal fucking nobody, Ramaswamy or whatever the fuck. It's like this literal Republican candidate nobody who's going to get eaten alive in the GOP debates, if he even makes it that far. It's like they want access to this dork, and because Don Lemon popped off on him and made him look like a bitch, like, that's like, oh, well, that's the final straw, Don, you're out. It's like, man, CNN are a bunch of cucks, dude. This is why no one likes mainstream media. And honestly, in this, like, when it comes to, like, journalists and shit, or journalists that get fired or, quit, these different outlets, like, it does kind of get me a little sense of, like, because, like, if anything, especially considering Don was like, yo, what the fuck, like, I finished my show, and they didn't even tell me about it. My agent had to come by and pull me aside to tell me I was fired. Like, I mean, what the fuck is this? Like, after all the shit that I've been with you guys, after all the stuff that I've did, and, like, and now at this rate, y'all just throw me under the bus? Like, fuck you. Like, there's a little bit of a fuck you animosity that Don Lemon has with this. Like, I could kind of tell with some of it, with his statement. Even though it was painted in a nice way, it was definitely kind of like that compassionate conservatism, like, passive-aggressive veneer to it. Which he definitely deserves to have, because that's some bullshit. Like, literally, this is, like, the most bare minimal, like, any journalist should be doing. And they kicked Don Lemon out for it. Which should show the fucking integrity and the honesty of these fucking mainstream media outlets, especially CNN. This is why I, especially, don't fucking, watch anything that these fuckers put out. Because it's all propaganda. It's all fabricated.
Appreciate you coming on.
With due respect, Don, I look forward to continuing that conversation.
We'll
Thank you.
The conversation.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you, Pop.
We'll talk about China.
Yes, let's talk about China.
We'll talk about China next time and how we're going to go to war with them and warmonger on this platform and blah, 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 blah. Oh, my God.
Oh, thank you. Much to say. I'm declaring independence from China.
Okay.
Something you can deny
on now, please.
Thank you.
You are? Wait, does China have claims to you as a what? Did I miss something with that?
Thank you.
All right.
Oh my God, hold on. That last little bit right there was fucking awkward.
Now, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh my God, that is so awkward. Oh, dude, I felt I felt the awkwardness just reverberate so hard from that. Oh my God, look at Don, dude. Lemon just has this look of like, I want to just whoop his ass. Like, fuck this guy. Like, he just is not happy. Oh my God, dude. He looks like he actually does want to pop off, honestly. And this lady over here, like Pam or whatever the fuck, I don't even care. Like, she just looks like, I don't want to be here anymore. I want to go have a, coffee and maybe, like, have a little margarita or something. Like, oh my God. This was awkward. I did not like being in Middle of Death.
All right, so I thought it was important to show the whole clip, including the end here.
Because that was so awkward. That ending was awkward as fuck.
I have to imagine the producers were yelling in his ear, which is why at the beginning of this conversation, he was talking about how he can't hear the conversation in front of him because of what's happening in his ear.
And he literally told them to shut up, basically.
And then the look here, like, this is... They were not happy. But I find this so bizarre, because this was great television.
It was.
And Don Lemon is pushing back in an honest way.
And honestly, it was literally the most bare minimal of, like, journalism and shit. Like, I mean, and that was, like, honestly, if that happened, like, on a daily on CNN, I would actually probably be a little bit more interested in watching CNN. Even if I didn't really like their, like, main like broadcast and shit, if, I at least would be interested to check out the guest segments, because if they're willing to at least, like, do shit like that, have a little bit of a pop-off occasionally and shit, then, yeah, I'd watch it. I mean, fuck. I mean, even bad publicity is good publicity, to a lot of politicians, so it's like, you think even, especially for Republicans, like, oh, see, I go in here in good faith, and then all these CNN journalists, want to just come in and attack me. They could frame it like that. It's like, these fucking Republicans, man. Oh no, they get a little clap back and they're like, we can't have it, we can't be on here because of excess. So fire the people that, are a little, have like literally the most, like, bare minimal shred of honesty and integrity. Just fire those people so then we could just have a nice little, like, cocksuck session. And then we could have a very boring and blah and corporate-friendly mainstream media program, yes. Elitism. Yes. The Republican leader are desperate for anyone but Trump. They see blood in the water for him and they want to divorce him badly, but basically still devoted to him. Well, that was the same thing in 2015, dude. Like, a lot of Republicans were like, including and especially broadly the establishment Democrats are like, he would never make it past the primaries. Nah, he'd never make it past the general. Nah, he'd never win. Nah, he'll get impeached. Nah. It's like, how many times are these fuckers gonna say nah? Before they realize that they can't just dismiss it. Because now they're doing this now. They're like, nah. It was an unknown factor. Yeah, okay, yeah, sure. They were wrong because he was an unknown factor, but they're wrong now because he's a known factor and the base love him for it. Because he was an outsider, and because the more they're turned off away from him, being like, nah, fuck this guy, the more they, portray him as kind of an outsider. This time, Trump's 100% going to lose versus pretty much any Dem but Kamala. Sure. But the thing is, do you really think Trump's going to take that quietly? And his base? Do you really think that? Don't like him anymore? Yeah, I know. Now, I'm aware of this. I'm just saying, it's like, despite that, though, like, the repercussions of what will happen from that. Expect no chance to... Oh, okay. I'm just saying, alright. Because the thing is, I don't expect Trump to win unless he, tries to do something outright nefarious. Which, yeah, that would essentially be at least, something he would do. And frankly, I hope they, crush and put that shit down. And do so with any means necessary at that rate. Instead of the weird, like, what's going on? Type of fucking weird mentality that was going on Jan 6 in back 2020. Or 2021, I guess. But, like, well, no, it was 2020. Yeah, but so, like, I mean, because that shit was just like, what the fuck? And I honestly hate how, like, there's so much of, like, oh, the Capitol Police are heroes, when, like, they are, at least in some part, kind of at fault for the absurdity and chaos that happened that fucking day. Because, like, there was a lot of lack of fucking communication, like, if any, and also a lot, despite having known information that this was going to happen, they did not, fully prepare for that shit, and a lot of information was purposely kind of withheld, from the forces that were going to be there that day, and they were severely understaffed, did not have proper equipment at all, which led to the injuries and death of a few of them, and because of that, has also led to different factors where there have been Capitol Police that have actually collaborated and, if anything, have, like, fist bumped and kind of welcomed these insurrectionists with open arms. So there is a lot of questionable shit that the Capitol Police, as an agency, did that fucking day. It's like, was every cop, on the ground involved in that? I doubt it. But there was definitely police, and different elements within the Capitol Police higher-up and administration that were most certainly involved. And no one, like, and it's part of the reason why I think the Jan 6 community is a little just fucking underwhelming, especially. Because, like, why is that not considered? They're all just treated like fucking heroes. Despite literal videos and shit and evidence showing that, like, there's definitely at least some elements of some of these fucking pigs, you know, being like, hey, what's up, guys? Bump, bump, bump. Just bumping, fist bumping motherfuckers as they're walking through these fucking the front doors of the fucking Capitol and shit. Getting selfies and, you know, just chit-chatting with these fucking people. While on the other side of the building, you know, a few other cops are literally getting crowd crushed. And none of them were using any fucking force at all. Like, as they were literally storming the fucking building, none of them were using any force. Or calling for backup, like no backup arrived and no National Guard came in or nothing. Fucking clusterfuck of a day, and it was not just, you know, because, like, it just popped out of nowhere. That shit was organized and planned, and fucking, like, no one, and, like, you know, the Capitol Police just, you know, knowing that that shit was gonna happen, just didn't prepare for that. Really? I bet if Jan said, dude, when the BLM protests were going on back in 2020, you know, Washington, D.C. was another city that had these protests. Like, they didn't even really have that many riots, but, like, at least outright. They had just, you know, predominantly just peaceful protests. You want to know how the police respond to that? Basically, a wall of fucking, like, stormtroopers lined up at the fucking, you know, Capitol building. And basically all armed with fucking, like, AR-15s, grenade launchers, and shit like that. Like, looking like fucking death squads. And this is over fucking just regular protesting, where it's not even, you know, like, where the protests aren't even trying to go at the Capitol specifically as a building or anything. Like, and they just did as precautionary measure shit, basically. Like, I mean, and with Jan 6, like, that's the type of fucking reaction it should have had. And if any motherfucker was, you know, started to, you know, walk up those steps, then there would be some rounds going down range. Like, that's how it should have been fucking treated. Because that was literally a fucking, like, a traitorous insurrection fucking coup. Even though, like, a majority of the fucking redneck hick chuckle fucks there went there just for the sake of going, just because they want to be a part of something big. Like, you know, the majority of the ones who were, like, at the top of all that shit were the ones who organized everything. They didn't really give a fuck if, like, 10,000 plus people outside, you know, didn't know what the fuck they were doing, or, like, you know, 100 some people in the building didn't know what the fuck they were doing. As long as at least enough people knew what they were trying to do, that was enough. Well, evidently there wasn't enough people who knew what they were doing, because it didn't really amount to shit anyway. Well, outside as a fucking warning. Because it really should be. That's why, like, I mean, while I still have a lot of hope for the future, especially considering that they're just not selling, you know, hearts and minds anymore when it comes to their fucking ideology and their, you know, militant, you know, fucking rhetoric about it, everything. Like, I mean, this is always why I emphasize, you know, if anything, this needs to be even, you know, more on the aggressive push against them, and to always remain vigilant, because these motherfuckers dangerous. I mean, you know, it's like, yeah, they're a bunch of goofy, silly fucking morons, but, you know, what makes it even more exceptionally freaky about it is that they're also dangerous. Not all of them, luckily, but, you know, sometimes it's kind of hard to discern which one is or isn't. And that's what makes it even more freaky. Which one's just mouthing off and being a moron, and which one's actually willing to do harm. If anything, that's where, you know, the vigilance really needs to be held at. Just kind of look out for, you know, ticks or certain things about somebody who is like, when time comes, I'm ready, type of shit. Because it's one thing, you know, I think if someone's just like, just goddamn bullshit, blah, 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 you know, whatever the fuck, just bitching about it. Because I know plenty of people that, you know, bitch about current state affairs, politics. I mean, fuck, I do that, you know, but, no, I mean, but at least, you know, people just bitch and moan about shit, including about, like, PC stuff or whatever the fuck. And at least in my experience, like, 99.9% of those people ain't gonna do fucking shit. And if anything, they don't even give enough of a fuck to, like, have it be absorbed in their fucking life, you know, and shit. It's just something that, like, it might, you know, pop up as a thought, and they're like, oh yeah, that PC stuff's kind of lame and annoying and stuff. You know, then it's just like, oh, another thought, you know, beyond that, it's like moving on from something else, you know, it's like, most people I know are pretty much like that about this type of shit. They don't give a fuck. Like, I mean, like, that's why even for, you know, people like that, they're not being sold, you know, to this type of militaristic shit, because they don't care enough to be that impassioned about it. Like, and if anything, that makes it even more likely, you know, to be sold, you know, to them to say, hey, here's why you might be wrong. Again, they might not care enough, but at least, you know, they're more willing to kind of, like, go from, whatever, it's weird and I don't care, or, bloop, being like, whatever, let people do what they want, I don't give a shit. Mr. Beast, more like Mr. Based. I want to go that far, at least when it comes to trans rights issues. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, he's still kind of like a millionaire philanthropist, like liberal, like an annoying dork, because his content is still insanely fucking annoying. Like, his personality, you know, at least as a content creator, is still really annoying and grates my gears. But when it comes to him as a person, you know, and from everything I've heard about him personally, outside of his, like, content sphere, he sounds like he's a really fucking cool guy. Despite all that. So, and knowing, especially with this latest shit about defending his trans friend, and very aggressively doing so, like, yeah, that, I think, really insanely proves that shit. Wait, he's still doing that? Wait, really? He's still fucking on transphobes? Dude, that's okay. You know what? I like that. See, he's like, you know what? I'm just gonna make it like, you know, my point for a few weeks to just fuck on transphobes. Dude, alright. Yeah, dude, okay, I like it. He is really making a point. I think he's also doing that so he could be like, anyone who follows me and in my audience, I'm gonna make it a point for a week or two to basically say, if you don't like trans people and you still follow me, fuck off. Like, that's another thing, that's another way of doing it. Just spam your pro-trans takes, and anyone that doesn't like your pro-trans defense and shit will eventually just go away. And below, vaccinated against transphobic nonsense by doing this. Vaccinated against transphobic nonsense. Vaccinated. Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, honestly, yeah, like, which is why, you know, when it comes to, like these social issues and shit, I'm never against, you know, people being defensive of, like, queer people or trans people and shit. Like, when it comes to, like, them as a person, that's, you know, and how I view them, it's always going to be separate, you know, when it comes to, like, you know, maybe some of their broader advocacy. Because with Mr. Beast's advocacy right now, it's fucking great. You know, and it's actually legitimately has changed my opinion about him to an extent. But, despite that, I still think his content and a personality as a content creator is fucking annoying and grates my gears. But at least, you know, I can kind of respect what he does. At least enough, you know, to be like, alright, more power to you, man. And, you know, at least, you know, you're actually doing so, you know, in a way that is at least trying to put a positive influence out there. I think, you know, and to some extent, at least not for the trans issue thing, but at least when it comes to some stuff, like, I'll notice with, like, a lot different videos he'll be like, oh, because, you know, like, the private jet video he did, like, doing the most cheapest, like, plane ticket, and then, like, the most expensive one, you know, like, he did, like, a little virtue signal at the end of videos, like, because we were doing, using, so many planes and stuff, and flying around so much, and doing so much carbon emissions, and blah, 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 we planted, like, you know, 10,000 trees and stuff, and it's like, cool, but that doesn't really negate the fact that you just flew a shitload of fucking planes and spewed a bunch of emissions everywhere. You know, so it's just like, you know, like, I still, you know, say, like I said, he's still kind of a millionaire philanthropist dork dude, and still kind of a lib, and is definitely kind of a virtue signaler to some extent. But at least, you know, I can definitely tell, especially with, you know, his advocacy for trans people and shit, especially one of his friends being so. Like, at least, you know, I think he does generally try to mean that and put it in the right place. Because, I mean, you know, he's not doing it out of a sense of, like, doing it for clout. Like, he actually is, you know, somebody, you know, like, one of the rare few dudes, you know, despite his, like, status and shit, who actually does seem like he kind of gives a fuck. So, you know, like, and before, you know, especially the whole, like, trans defense that he's been doing for his friend, like, I honestly thought, you know, he was just more of a virtue signaler fucking dorkball. It doesn't do anything courageous, so he deserves at least some praise. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, like, either way, I'm not, like, you know, outright dogging on him. Like, honestly, before all this, I probably would a little. But, I mean, at this point, yeah. Like, I don't really think, you know, there's, like, you know, too much to really actually dog on him, because I think he showed his, like, true colors a little bit by, you know, showing his legit honesty in who he is, you know, to be, you know, inclusive and open, you know, like he is. Like, honestly, he's kind of like, you know, being a healthy, like, you know, example of, you know, like a, you know, kind of a male figure when it comes to things like this. Especially for young people, if you think about it. If you want to kind of tie this into, like, you know, male role models, so to speak, online and shit when it comes to influencers, because you have motherfuckers like Andrew Tate and shit. So, I mean, you know, it's like, you know, I think, you know, all in all, you know, despite, you know, maybe some critiques at the end of the day, mainly as, like, a personality as a content creator, not really as personality as a person, you know, like, he's actually, you know, more so decent and actually kind of a better guy than I thought. A lot, you know, he's kind of like, you know, how I feel like about Lemon. Like, you know, oh, you know, realize that he's, you know, better than I realized, you know, still kind of a lib, you know, but he can kind of pop off, actually, you know, has good takes, you know, and, you know, seems like he has his heart in the right place a little bit. So, you know, and with that, I can at least respect that. It does actually kind of like them a little bit. It's worse than the other videos on it. Wait, what is this? I mean, I'm probably not going to be able to watch it right now. Oh, no, I haven't seen this yet. But we'll watch it when I get off work, because, you know, oh, yeah, 30 minutes. Yeah, I'm going to have to watch this one when I get off work. One of the worst, huh? Oh, God. Wait, let me skim around. Have I seen this? Oh, you know what? I think I've seen... I think Demon Mama might have reacted to this. I think I might have... Yeah, like, I think so. I'm pretty sure I've seen the video because Demon Mama reacted to it, but I haven't seen Xan's take. I broke down in front of Mom this morning and said we need to redact all white people and stuff. She just nodded silently. What the fuck? Damn. What the hell? Oh, is Onion Nuggets today, or is it Tuesday? Oh yeah, they're doing it on Tuesday now. God damn it. I was just thinking in the back of my mind, I was like, ooh, Onion Nuggets? And I was like, wait a minute. They're doing that weird, like, we're gonna do it on Tuesday for a little bit, see how this works. Fuckers. Damn it. Boo! I don't like that. It's not cool. It's not kill. I have to find other shit to fucking, like, watch and listen in the background when I'm at work. Boo. Boo. Get the last little bit of, you know, bean water. Bean water. He's upset there's this paperwork turns in quickly. He probably will. Get money and we can fly out of here and look at properties. Come back, then we can go. Zoom, zoom, let's go. Yeah, boy. Anyway, what? You're not gonna come to Arizona if you don't want it? Yeah, I do. I've been to Arizona before. I like the state. It's a really fucking cool place. Why the fuck would I not want to go? What did he take me for, you fucking hoodlum? God. Anyway, but gotta go to work, so peace out, and of course I'll be back for the next one, so toodaloo, bye.